Here's another example of evaluating a polynomial. And you can see I'm plugging in a -1 for one of the variables, actually a -3 for the other variable. So I'm going to have to be very careful with making sure I put the parentheses correctly in there. So we get, let's see, a is becoming -3, and this says 2a squared. So you'll notice the -3 is inside the parentheses, the square is on the outside, because this a is becoming the -3 inside the parentheses. So this part right here is my a. So this is 2 times blob squared. It's 2a squared. And then, of course, times b. Plus 3 times -3 squared times -1 squared. And then minus 4 times -3 times -1. Okay, lots of negatives floating around. It would be really easy to make a mistake, so I'm just going to be very careful about my order of operations. I'm going to just do the exponents first. And I know that I can do all the exponents at the same time here because I have an exponent here. It's some number raised to the 2. And then I have lower priority operations. I have multiplication, I have addition, various things separating them. I have another exponent here, and then I have a lower priority operation. This is multiplication between these. Another exponent. So, like I said, I'm just going to deal with the exponents first. This one right here, -3 quantity squared. I'm saying quantity squared to kind of emphasize the fact that this is in parentheses. The entire thing gets squared. This will end up being a +9. Let's see, these exponents, well, that's the same thing as what I just did. -3 quantity squared is +9, and then -1 quantity squared is +1. Alright, so I did just the exponents first. You know, technically I could have done some of this multiplication over here in this same step, but like I said, I'm just trying to be careful to make sure everything, you know, to minimize my chances of making a mistake. In this first term, these 3 numbers that I'm multiplying right here, I'm seeing the addition there. That's what's separating these from the other part and the other part of the parts of the expression. 2 times 9 times -1 is -18. 3 times 9 is 27 times 1, well, it's still 27. And then we take a -4. How do I want to do this? I could treat this as minus and then figure out what this stuff is, or I could actually take this and make it into a -4. So I'm saying -4 times -3 times -1. That's actually, I think, how I'm going to do it, just so I can deal with all the negatives at once. I have 1, 2, 3 negatives. That's an odd number of negatives, which means the end result is going to be negative. Then I can just ignore them. 4 times 3 is 12, times 1 is still 12. So I get -18 plus 27 plus -12. And the same trick I did before, where I'm going to take the negative numbers and combine them together first. As long as I write it all as addition, I can move these around. -18 and -12 is -30. And it's -30 plus 27. Combining these together, I get -3. So that would be my final answer here.